All right, it's been a super rough night. And I just got my second cup. It's 2 in the morning. But anyways, I just had to start. I was like, oh my God. My brain is overloaded. And last night was rough. Well, tonight is rough. And I just saw a thing about like the Schumann, or I think it was the Schumann is mental. It could be solar flashes too, or whatever, those CMEs and all that stuff. And then plus it's just the energetic field. Our energetic field is super chaotic. Is everybody's energy is colliding, and everybody's emotional. This is what feeds this other realm of beings. And so it's fucking intense, man. I just saw a footage just popped in my head. Is this totally what it's like? It was these guys in a boat in Key West in the dark, and I don't know if they threw something out or what, but it was like a million sharks. Like there is no fucking way. Florida is so off the fucking thing to me. Hell to the no. Alligators and sharks and bullshit, no. And they got fucking lots of bugs. No, hell no. Florida, but and Florida's not even going fully underwater. Sorry. Yeah, and Florida's not even going fully underwater. She's had a really rough night. I know this energy is intense to her too. She'll jump up, start barking. Honey, I'm doing my work now. You're gonna have to wait till I finish. I just gave her medicine. She's already been out. She's already had a treat. Like, this is her. I'm sick of this shit. She was licking her leg for a second, but I gave her some medicine. She didn't have any medicine all night. It was a rough night. I even told her, fuck off. I was so mad. I was just like, fuck off. I was like, oh my God, how am I ever going to sleep after that? God, you're horrible. You have no patience. Oh, Jesus. It was just like kicking my own ass. And I was like, okay, I went my sleep. My fucking shit ass attitude. But my head is just hurting so bad. My head, I feel so in a fog. And, there's just some uncomfortableness to the whole thing. But I did see, this is another one of these big accounts too, like that Mama Todd or something. What is her code name is? I just thought of it this morning. I always think of her as Church Lady. She reminds me of Church Lady Dana Carvey did a long time ago on Saturday Night Live. She is, it's not Mama Todd, but it's Auntie something. And, but she's that same kind of personality. So she did this video yesterday, and she's done some weird ones because of her perspective. Like, there's certain people I like to get their perspective. Like, boy, they're riding the fence over here. Let's see what they have to say about this. Ooh, look at that one. They're talking about this in an unusual way. Let's hear what they have to say. So I like to hear, but it's always kind of disappointing. I am always left to be like, there is so many people who are literally not connected to their soul. This is the union that's about to occur. That's the meeting in the mirror. That's this union that's about to go down is a union to self. It's to your soul. And all these people, so many people, they're just so in the 3D. It's so hard. I've spent my whole fucking life in this battle. And it's hard, man. And now to know the battle I'm in, because before I didn't. It was very confusing until the awakening. All of a sudden, it was like the puzzle all of a sudden went together. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm drinking my second cup. So it always starts doing that. Oh yeah, and the throat attack thing. It only lasted a few more minutes. But it was like, oh my God, I can't just keep making them go through this. They already had to go through all my cough, and it wasn't going to go away really quick. So I was like, okay, I'll start again. But man, that was an intense, and it was weird what the thing was on. And it was only a thing I was going to share about this movie that I had watched about Shattered Spirits. And this also goes with what I'm saying about this auntie lady, like all these different things. So I'm going to be all over the place, but all this stuff kind of goes together, but you might have to put the pieces together because I may not do it for you, but I'll give you the pieces. And I think that's what it's supposed to be anyways. I'm not supposed to be trying to help you link the pieces. I'm just sharing pieces, and you guys are the travelers going around filling your pockets from the pieces that you go, and then you are coordinating and creating your understanding that it creates all of who you are. It's like your balance. It's like everything, it comes together for you, going and getting all the pieces. It's not like we have to put them together for you. So anyways, if it seems like it's scattered, just I don't know, rest with it. Like, just let it go in there and let it accumulate its own thing. It's just planting seeds, literally. We're not supposed to be trying to help them grow. We're supposed to just be giving you information. You're supposed to be doing the thinking. So, okay, hold on. Let me get a drink. Because now I got to think about, because in the Shattered Spirits, it was, I was thinking maybe it was going to be like a ghost movie or something. That had Martin Sheen. It's an old movie. And it was abusive alcoholic dad, and what it was like to be the family. It was like it was really, to me, it was made back in the time when they were still trying to teach us morals. Like, it was during that period of time. And it's weird because it was like a setup, kind of. Because that's one thing, like my kids will tell me all the time, oh my God, Mom, you're such a prude. Oh my God, Mom, times are moving forward and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but our morals are our morals. Like what happened in the world? There was even a point with my husband, the one I raised the kids with, that I had even said, let's go to church. Maybe we need to go and the kids need to have that kind of, because, I grew up with that. And it did give you, like, it wasn't like I saw my kids not having morals, but it was like the world, like The Simpsons. It was like I could see it in the world. I could see things that people couldn't see. I've always been able to see things people couldn't see. And I was like, we need to go to church and give them that foundation or something. And we started going, but it's never a place that I find home. Home is, thus far, it's been pretty solitary, pretty lonely place. But, yeah, I don't want to cry. I'll start this crying. I've already been crying. That was one of the things I had to start about too. But okay, so then this mama or auntie, she was doing this video, and she was talking about there's something weird going on, I really think there's something weird going on. I'm not really sure what's going on, but like we're all having these weird things, like not being able to sleep, like everybody keeps waking up between 2 and 4. Like, isn't that weird? And she's going through all these things, like, because she's a religious person, I'm pretty sure she's a patriot, but she could be anti Donald. There's a group in there that are very much like that. They're patriots, but they're anti Donald. It's like this whole weird thing. It's just a mashup of emotions, because people only see what they see. They aren't seeing the whole thing because they get so focused on what they're looking at, and they don't go out and look for more information. They don't try and they don't try and set themselves off. Like they are comfortable where they're at, and they don't want to interfere with that and get more information. So they're comfortable where they're at. They're comfortable with this group that they've aligned with and how they all look at things. But that's where the universe is going to come in and kick everybody's ass and say, oh, really? Let's look at this. It's going to be intense. I know I keep saying it, but it's going to be intense. And I think it's going to be one of the most intense things that we experience is when this abrupt thing happens. And there's a lot more people talking about it too. A lot more psychics and stuff can feel it. Like I don't know. I can see things that may be further way ahead. I think it's all depends on your psychic abilities. Maybe it has something to do with how far you can look or something. Because it's like some people are just starting to see things, but also this is where I'm always talking about, like these people who, doing their hair pink and putting all this makeup on and telling you to be vegan and then going out. And it's just like there's so much that's just like wacky. And so it's where all the pieces go together for all the different people, because all the pieces are scattered right now. They haven't put them all together. And so when all the pieces go, it gives the being, this is the union that it has to occur, because it gives the being such a different look at itself, because it hasn't been looking at this and it hasn't been trying to find the answers. So the universe is going to make sure that the answers are given. But the auntie lady, she was talking about how intense this energy is and how she can't sleep and whatnot. And everybody's feeling, she's talking about her depression. She's like, Auntie, I'm always happy. This is where she's going through this whole thing. I got a great marriage. I got a great house. I got a great life. I got great hair. I got great, she's just going through it. Like, she's so happy. It's like insane. Why would she be depressed? It makes no sense. There's no, and she's trying to figure it out, and she's talking about other people, and we're trying to understand, and we think it's just this energy is just making us feel down and anxious. And all I want to say about that is I, as the viewer, as the observer, I pick up on, you're not dealing with old trauma. You've put on a lot of masks and cute clothes, and you've put on the cute lifestyle. You've got it all. Like, why would you be sad? You've got everything you could, anybody, half the world would give their fucking right leg to have what you have. So why would you feel sad? Like, what's wrong with you? And it is because people mask up and hide from their trauma. They try and pretend like everything's fine. They don't have any problems. Nothing bothers them. And especially when you are caught up in the generational trauma, because it's such a communication, it's not a communication gap that is considered amongst the group. It's a communication, like, we're not going to talk about it. Let's just all not talk about it. Let's just all, no, we're just not going to talk about it. That's going to be uncomfortable. That's going to be awkward. We're not going to talk about it. So we'll just all, and that is why there's so much, especially right now in families, why there's so much intensity and chaos is the only things I could think of to call it. But it's all this energy coming to the surface. But her saying that stuff just made me think, like, all this, what I had said last week, when I'd heard somebody else saying something about how this energy coming in is so hard on them. They are just, man, it fucks them up. And the same thing came to me. It's like, all these people are not using the energy what it's for. It's supposed to be kicking your ass if you've got trauma, but you've got to focus on your trauma. I don't know what everybody's focused on. I don't know what everybody gets themselves distracted with. There's a lot of shit going on. That's why they're doing it. This is something I just saw yesterday too. During the Roman Empire, whatever, some huge thing that people, I think it was the Roman Empire, right before this big war or takeover happened. I'm not even clear. I don't think I was at the Roman Empire. I don't think it was my jam, but I think there's a lot of people here who were there, because it comes up all the time in our society now. And so I think there's a lot of people there who remember everything's going full circle. So what things they played out there, they're coming in to play out the other roles and see the other side. So we could have a lot of soldiers who are now playing this other side. And maybe that's why they come up with this, well, we got to fight them, because they've got that in them. And that's what the soul is looking at all the time, looking at themselves, how they're affected by all the different things. And so, and you're always trying to cleanse things. You're trying to become pure. You're trying to become pure of light, of your essence, to become purity. You have to figure out what that is. It's not something that I could tell you. Because in order to tell you, I would have to define you. I would have to set the rules. I would have to give you the laws. That's what they're trying to do here. And that isn't the freedom of a soul, of a sovereignty. So it isn't something that I could give you a parameter. You have to you have to deter, incur, you have to do it. You have to become your own parameter. And so it's up to you. So, hold on. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta get a drink. Okay. So, okay, so I can't give somebody the rules. See, there's universal law, but see, this is the thing that like we're accustomed to. It's kind of like people are dependent on it. It's like they yearn for people to tell them what to do. What should they wear? How should I go? What should I do? Where should I go? All this stuff. They rely, like, this is the thing that they knew about what Hollywood was doing on our screens. It was giving us a script. It was programming us how to look at things and how to say things. And I started noticing that with my kids. And me and my siblings, we always would say lines out of the movies to each other. But it was kind of like when we would do it, it would, we weren't using the lines as our own lines, but we were. But it was kind of like in a funny way, like you were saying this movie line, like it was like the thing, like you were just saying a movie line. But then it started kind of changing around the 80s or 90s. It seems like with Friends, that show, like that was a very programming show. I think it programmed a whole fucking generation. I think it's continuing. I think that's why it was in that show that was brought up. Why Friends. There was some heavy programming. There was a switch that happened in there that Friends did. It went in this new direction and it gave people like this, I want to be like them. I want to, sit in the coffee shop. I want to dress like that. I want to be like, and it started getting people to go in this way of, it's like man, it's kind of like like we would align with a character and then we would start like kind of formulating ourselves around a character. So we would start, like cutting our hair, like everybody got the Rachel, everybody started dressing like her and all that kind of stuff. That was like, I'm sure there was guys that were like Chandler and Joey and, I'm sure there was people who all just kind of like, oh, I'm like that, man. And so they just kind of, and people started saying like lines, like they started talking like out of shows and stuff. And I started noticing that. It was like back in the 80s and 90s. I started noticing with my kids. And so I'm sure, I'm sure it was a part of the programming. Because that really, think about it. Why have all the shows? They could have been at Grey's Anatomy. It could have been, like, there's been a lot of shows. MASH. She could have been obsessed with anything. But Friends, I think it was because everything has these experiments, like social experiments, emotional, like they're always testing everything. Like we're always being looked at, but also, once you become aware, then you are also looking, you're also understanding yourself. Oh, well, what do I do now? Well, how should I do this? Well, okay, this is going on. You're approaching the game so different once you have awareness that you're in a game. Like the rest of the people, they're just fighting and it's like they are the movie because they are not playing they're not playing the same. What was that too? Because that was really cool. Did I finish saying about the shattered spirits? Because the alcoholic family, oh yeah, okay, because the people who are not dealing with things, so there's a lot of people not dealing with things, and so they're going through this, they're holding shit in. It's like they're constipated, emotionally constipated, and they're not letting things out. They don't, their life's too good. Why would I fucking fuck it up now thinking about my childhood? And so you got to, like, you got to release the past. Because if you're having a lot of this, and I'm not just talking about dizziness and headaches and that stuff, I'm talking about emotionally, these people are just emotionally drained. They're so depressed. They don't know what's going on. They're so anxious. They can't fucking handle it. And that is because the energy is causing pressure and you're constipated and you're trying to hold it in. And you got to fucking let it go. And you got to face your shit. You got to, that's so funny. You got to face yourself. You got to face it all. And so you can let it go. And that is what, and then, a lot of people, it's like, well, I look too good. My hair's done. I got the perfect life. I can't fuck it up and think about shit that bothered me 20 years ago. It's like, yeah, but that shit's still in there. It's still in there. And you just put on a bunch of fucking makeup and thought nobody'd notice. And this is, but in the Shattered Spirits was totally a movie where I was like, fuck, if people have like repressed things about living in an alcoholic house or a chaotic house, fuck, man, I've worked through that stuff. So it wasn't causing me emotional trauma, but oh my God, I was reliving some of this stuff, things that you don't even remember about, like how an alcoholic parent, come up to you and, oh, you're my favorite. They're so manipulative that they are so inappropriate. They are so emotionally unstable. 1 minute they're happy, 1 minute they're sad. It was like reliving so many things. And I was like, man, people who are repressed, who are holding that shit in, need to watch this kind of stuff because it's so fucking accurate that it would just pull it out of you. You just would relive the moment again, like, oh my God, I remember that. Oh, but I've already done all those, relived those moments. And it was a lot of old movies and stuff that would pull things out. And that one, to me, it was like, oh my gosh, this maybe really can pull some pain out of people, remind them, remember, these things that you're hiding from so you can let them go. And then, so that is important. But wait a second, because there's some other stuff too. So, but that will be what's keeping people up. Not just, because I know it's hard to sleep during this. Like, it's fucking hard. And I don't even know. It's like uncomfortable. My jaw's hurting. And yet my tooth is hurting. It's like super uncomfortable. And I'm totally talking about the emotional. And so if you're being kept up just because like it's intense, like it's loud, it's intense, it's the energy around. I went out and walked yesterday with Stella and I can just feel the intensity. I can just feel like it's weird. And we get to the house like next to me, the house next to them. So the house behind me where the guy died, because mine, it kind of goes around. It's not a circle and it's not a square. It's like a curving. And as it goes around the curve, there's a house next to me and the house next to them. So the house next to them kind of goes up to my backyard. So we kind of share like a backyard. And the green belt is between our things. Like our yards both become like the green belt. And so it's just right there. And it's so close. And I don't know, I've heard so many explosions. I mean, there's explosions nonstop to the point where I've stopped reacting. I've stopped going to look. And, there was a point where I would just stop and wait. But now it's just like, fuck, just keep going. This is one explosion after fucking another. But so when I got over there, a fucking tree totally and they have a lot of trees. And as I was walking, I was like, what the fuck is that? And in my head, I heard it's the bottom of a tree. It's a tree stump from the other side. And I have those in my yard. I have 2 of them. And I was like, no way. How could that be? Like, why would they put a tree stump right there? That would be so weird. And so I'm having a conversation always like, they'll tell me things, but I'll argue. I'll be like, nah, no way. That's not a tree stump. You guys don't know what you're talking about. It's really funny sometimes. So no way, that's not a tree stump. But then you know that it is. And so it's like, but how could it be? Why? Why would they do that? It looks so voodoo. And so I'm going around, there was a car parked right there. As I go around the car, it's a motherfucking tree. The whole motherfucking tree just tipped over, and it's right next to their house, and it's surrounded by trees. Well, I was like, what the fuck? It just shows so much what is supposed to happen exactly happens. If you saw how this tree fit through these other trees and totally just uprooted itself, tipped its long ass over, hit over way over there, and crashed right through their fucking porch. I was like, what the hell? I mean, it's like right, their whole thing is like coming down. And I was like, what the fuck? And that would be so fucking, it's so loud when a branch falls. So that had to be one of the explosions I heard at one point, but I don't know when it happened. Like, we go out and walk, I didn't see it the day before. Like, what in the hell? And then, so I don't know if it happened the night before and it wasn't even windy. Or if it happened, I don't know. It's so confusing because I'm always looking in their yard. It's just right there. And so like while you're walking by, you're always like, Stella's always stopping, sniffing. So I'm always standing there looking around. So I don't know. Like, fuck. It's always like, God, did I miss that? Was it there for a couple of days? Like, how in the fuck? And the trippy thing is too, is like I've said about this energy coming back in full circle. So that house back there was this old man, and it was dilapidated as fuck. And he was old and smoked and just this old, like when you get out here, there's a lot of, when you go out rural, there's a lot of like old men, oh, I don't know, like they should be old farmers sitting up in front of the stores talking, but our culture's, it's just gotten kind of fucked up. So they're isolated in their homes. Some, like Ted Royal, arguing on social media, you gotta think the way I think. And others just sitting lonely and smoking their pain away. And so anyways, he always seemed very alone. But this other old man that's across the street, he would go over there all the time. And he would do things to help him and stuff. And then the guy died. And during all this quarantine and stuff, I think he died in 22. And so then right away, because her and I would notice, because then I was like, well, what are they going to do about the house, And it was like right away, it was like it went on. And this is the corrupt shit that's going on and still going on. This is still going on with those realtors and the LLCs and stuff. But there's a bunch of things that have like put the brakes on it, so they can't do some things. So there's a lot of interference that is causing things. They're probably trying to come up with new ways and stuff, but they're all backed in corners. They're all, they're all getting fucked. So it's not going to keep going in the same direction. It's all ending, but it's still, I think, happening. But anyways, it was like they had this house like immediately. And then it was like for a month and a half or 2 months, all day and all night. I am not kidding. It was all day and all night. They had a work crew. And they had the lights on. The fucking guys would have the music blaring. The woman next to me, she would get so mad. She even tried to say something to them about turning it down, and they started mocking her and were totally rude. And so there were all these guys. And I could tell, too, that they were patriots because of some of the music they would play. And so they're over there working and working and working. I'm sure thinking, because that's one thing a lot with the patriot movement too, a lot of ego. And so they finished it, and then it seemed like they put it on the market. The whole thing was weird, and to the point where I was like, they didn't sell that house. That's them still. They're just, one of their friends or something moved in. They didn't sell it. I think, and I'm not sure, what all's going on, because the developer keeps going, but I swear to God, with all the explosions and shit, like, I don't know if they're doing another road again or something, but it's like, I think that they tell them to go over. I would not surprise me if they're setting up a fucking gas leak, which that fucking one in Virginia, there is footage. There was more cops going to that than there was the Miami Mall. It was so fucking, and they're trying to market it as it was a gas leak, and there was firemen in the house. Why were the firemen in the house putting out a fire when the people are saying that they were walking around and could smell gas? Like, there's a lot of things that it's like doesn't make sense. And then when you see the footage of how many cops were there, it's like no fucking way. But I have been saying for a long time, it just seems like we're being set up out here for hitting a gas line or something. It's intense. And so the so they've still got all that going on, but there was still, it seemed like something weird because it was like these house flippers. And so this guy had his house, but then he also had an outbuilding that had water and everything. So his outbuilding was set up, but his outbuilding is small. So they turned his outbuilding into a tiny home. My shed is way bigger. Mine is like a little tiny home. This one is like more like a shed. And they made it's like I don't know, 60 square foot rental. Like somebody actually and I think it's like, seems like maybe it's construction workers or something that go and stay in it. And I don't even know if they're paying rent or free because I think this is like all this group. And I think they still have it because of some of the work that they still go and do. Like there's still weird things that go on. Or it's like they still have not sold this house. Because one day when they were outside, after this new people had moved in, like the people who, they stopped the work and these people moved in. And I said, oh, so you guys live here now? And they're like, yeah, we bought it. And I said, oh, you bought it like from your friend? I was like, you guys are the same fucking people. Like, what the fuck? And then, so it seemed like they were trying to, like, wait on the market or something. I could be wrong, but usually I pick up on things and I'm right. But anyways, it just seemed like something weird. And maybe it was because of there's weird things, like it could be, maybe it's a double wide. And maybe it's because of the age. Because you can't get loans on certain things, but a flipper should know that stuff. And I think it's a manufactured home, but I don't know all the rules. So I don't know if things have changed. Just like that one guy who was saying, he had 100,000 to put down, 250 in the bank, and they wouldn't give him a house loan. But they don't have money to loan out. They're trying to take homes away from people. They're trying to switch their collateral, but it won't work because their system's all fucked up, and the other people who are surrounding them, like Vladimir, all the other leaders who want better for people, that they are surrounding them and putting pressure. And so they can't fix it. It's all going to collapse. And it's so weird how there's still people who just are like, I'll argue with you about that. It's like, you need to start paying attention to shit. Like, dude. And so the the collapse is occurring. That's happening. And what was I going to say? There's like so much stuff. I told you, it's like oh God, there's so much stuff I'm trying to see. I've got to tell this one story though, because it was good and I don't want to forget it. And so this guy, and he has always been prophetic. So he's probably been connected since he was a kid, like me. Because there's a lot of people who we were as kids, but we didn't really understand because it started when we were kids. So we didn't know anything. It's just been our whole lives. Like me, I thought that's how everybody was. I didn't know everybody didn't have the same kind of communication. And so, I don't know. But he was saying something about it, like he had always had some kind of dreaming. I don't know. He's always been psychic or something. And I think he's on a podcast. He was talking to somebody and they said, tell us about that dream that you had. That was so whatever. It was a really, really good dream. So I want to share it. And so this guy said that he had these friends, and one of the friends killed himself. And he was he was partying, and maybe a lot of people overdose, but like on purpose. But it's like they were high when they made the decision. But all things are lessons. Like, you don't know what all the lessons are, but nobody can do themselves in unless it's meant to be. You just can't. It's impossible. And so what's meant to be is meant to be. And then everything associated with meant to be is it's your ability, it's your job, it's your focus. It's what you're supposed to do is pick up the pieces. And what do you do with the broken pieces? And so that is it's like your challenge. And um challenge accepted. But so many people are like fighting the challenges. It's like, I don't want this challenge. It's like, yeah, but your soul did. That's why you're here. It wouldn't happen if otherwise. And so so this guy's story, so a friend killed himself, and he so in the dream, the guy said that he was, all of a sudden, he was in this car with Jason Biggs and Leslie Mann, and they had a baby in the car seat, and they just had a baby, and he said that he was in the seat next to the baby, and they were driving in this car, and they were going someplace, and he said all of a sudden the baby started saying, where the fuck am I? Where the fuck am I? What am I doing? Where am I? And the guy, the dreamer, recognized who it was and said, started having a conversation with him over who he was in the past life, the guy who had killed himself. So now he's in this baby, and the guy's in the dream, it kind of to tell him or something, and because the guy's so confused, he's like, what happened? What am I doing here? How am I here? And he even told him, he's like, your mom and dad are Jason Biggs and Leslie Mann. Like, you got pretty good going here. Like, Jason Biggs off of American, what is that movie called? He's like telling him, like, that's pretty cool. And the guy's like, but what am I doing here? How did I get here? Why am I in this baby? And he goes, because you killed yourself. And the guy goes, what? What did I do? And he goes, yeah, you killed yourself. He goes, when? And he told him, and he goes, oh my God, how's my family doing? And this is going to make me sad because I can feel it. And he goes, they're not doing good. They're doing really bad. And he's like, how's my brother? He's like, he's doing bad. They're doing bad. How's my mom? Really bad. They're doing really bad. And so he's talking to him about, and the guy's like, so much regret, so much like, oh my God, what did I do? And so then he goes, all of a sudden they're going to the baby's parents. So the parents of, he knows the parents because it was his best friends since they were little kids. And the two brothers. And so he goes there, and the parents are there, and he's like talking about their parents are just so nice, and they were so excited to meet Leslie and Jason, and this baby sitting over here was screaming and screaming, but he could hear what the baby was saying, but the baby just kept crying. All they could hear was baby crying, but he could hear what the baby was saying, and the baby was saying, Mom, this is gonna be sad. Because he kept saying, Mom, I'm so sorry. I fucked up. I'm so sorry. And the mom couldn't hear him. And the mom was like, oh my God, somebody quiet that baby down. And the baby just kept screaming and screaming. And the guy said, he kept saying, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And this is why I was crying this morning. Listening to the guy tell a story and try and tell it to somebody and see if you don't cry. It's fucked. So he kept screaming, I'm sorry, Mom.
And then the mom goes, I just got to go pick that baby up. I was like, our soul could hear it. And she picked up the baby, and she was holding the baby and talking to it like, it's gonna be okay. We're all gonna be okay. It's okay. And then the dad came over and started doing something to the baby, and the guy said, the baby started saying, Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I fucked up. I'm so sorry. I don't know. The dad was just like, playing with them and tickling them and stuff, and saying, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. It was like this soul kind of thing happening. And the guy said that it was like watching this whole healing thing happen. And it was so transformative. And then he woke up, and he said he woke up crying. He said it was so emotional and so real. But see, that's the thing, is like, I know that stuff's real. I know, like, we're not going into our heads and dreaming pictures all night. No, we're going into other realities, other places, other things, where our consciousness is continuing to experience. It's just like when the avatar's awake, it's in player mode. It's like, okay, now I'm in player mode, back in, let's focus. And in the sleeping time, in my sleeping time, I struggle because I go so far out or something, and it's so hard. And it fucks with me to try and come out of to this abrupt waking me up. And that's why I feel like it's like the archons or something to create, because we've got so much of that dark energy, and they know, like, they get the energy that they want, but it's just so much of it here. So it's like, it's like this churning that's happening, but the churning is literally turning us the other direction. This was so fucking freaky. And so I have been seeing this footage, and I'm sure other people who are on social media had been seeing this, and I was confused as to what it was. And I thought maybe it was like somebody had made like the CGI or something, because there's all these people who are making all of these CGI kind of situations where you can't tell. And so that's the whole thing of coming to the surface too, of all this fake world, and don't invest so much energy into stuff that you don't even know is real. With this, so this was, so, okay, so the North Pole. Okay, so when you think of the toroidal field and the North Pole, so that is a vortex. That is it goes in. And so on these really old maps, like back in the 1500s or something, these really old maps, and they have it where there's a hole in the middle, and then there's 4 land masses around it, and there's 4 rivers that come out of the hole, and then it goes out into this other waters. And in the vortex, there is a giant, the biggest black rock. There's something about, it's the center of the earth. And this was something one of the time travels had said, that there's going to be something exposed about the center of the earth. And I guess this must be what it is. And so so in the old maps, they show it and they call it Black Rock. And then, so put that together for yourself. And so because remember, it's all the hidden knowledge. This is the people, the keepers of the knowledge. It's all the supernatural and mystical knowledge in the world of the supernatural world. But the thing is that the people are so caught up in the 3D world that they don't understand that there is this other world. But that is this awakening part, when they have to see, because their soul is in that other part. The soul, you have to be awareness into that part to have that connection with your soul. I mean, all these people who think like
It's so weird. I don't even, the stuff with death, and when you try and talk to a Christian about your soul and you try and say stuff, and uh, it's the weirdest thing. It's just too weird. And you try and get them to make sense of it, and they just can't. Like I've said, like, what do you think? Your soul is just this thing. It just zaps out of you, zaps into an elevator, zaps into heaven, and it's weird. I just like, I don't even know. I had way too many weird conversations about this shit. And uh so the vortex thing it's going down. And so right now there's all this footage. There's all this footage of the North Pole. It's going. Like it's going. And I don't know if it's always been this way. And that we just, I mean, when you go back to this old map, it shows that it was. So this is like hidden from us. And it's the same thing as like the Antarctica and stuff. You're not allowed to go up around there. It's because it's the fucking goddamn fucking truth of it all. And so this footage is being out, and I'm not sure if it's coming from some kind of camera thing or something. But the video I had seen talking about it, where the girl was like, talking about the North Sea, because we were being flooded on TikTok. Like, I don't know on other platforms, but on TikTok, we were being flooded with the North Sea. And it was constantly showing this, like, I mean, it was horrific. And they always had this music, like they do the same song. They always want to get these songs in our head to associate with things. And so, and then they can play the song and right away, see, we've got it in our head. And I've tried to tell this to people, and people will argue with me. It's like, dude, argue all you want. Pay fucking attention. And so they have this thing going on trying to show the North Sea to us and how rough and wild and stuff it is. So this girl's like, you want to know why they keep bringing up the North Sea? It's because they want to keep focusing on this and showing you all these wild waters, because this other thing is going on and they don't want you to know what's going on over here. So they're trying to distract you. They're trying to, it's like the information they're trying to block, they're trying to distract you. They're trying to give another story to get you to look over there. And so they're trying to pull people's attention out. But this fucking thing is going. And it's, I mean, to me, it seems like it's all part of this pole shift. It's all part of like this communication between the sun and the earth is energetic. And it goes down in, see? And down in is all realms and shit. It's all worlds. Like, people are so sure that this is only one. And I think that that's why, like, now we've got, like, 4 moons, 3 suns, a big old planet over here, Saturn. Like, we got all this shit going on all over the place. People are getting the craziest fucking pictures and footage and shit. And I think it's just to get people to just wake up, to start thinking outside the box, to start thinking, you know, things aren't as they appear. And so let me think. If I had said, okay, yeah, because I was telling that story. And so, oh yeah, okay, I finished that story with the dream. Okay, and then the rules of people. The people have got to figure out their own rules. There's laws, but the laws are not like written laws, like what they've tried to create here with written laws. The laws of the universe are like the law of energy. Like, what do they call that here? Because we have something like that. The law of gravity. What they tried to tell us, like, maybe that's what they called it. I don't know. There's something that we have. And it is like, if you're gonna throw something up, it's gonna come back down. That's a law. That right there. You throw it up, it's going to come back down. You can roll it out. The only way it'll come back is if it hits something hard enough to come back. But that's where the laws of the universe come from, is like, because that's how it goes. Like, that's what happens. And so karma, the karmic balance, what you put out comes back. Whatever you put out comes back on you. That you have to fix the things. And you see, like, anytime any of these, go in and any NDEs and stuff, it's constantly, people have so much regret. Go in and see what the things are that they regret. You know, the things that people don't like are the parts of you that you're hiding yourself. Those are the things. And we're just in a society of people who are hidden. It's why there's such a makeup industry, why there's so much fake hair industry. And, this one thing that I had been talking about, and I kept seeing. It was just like getting brighter and bigger and bigger. It was like, oh my God, come on, girls, put on some fucking clothes. Have some fucking dignity. What the fuck? God damn. And it is like, and they just kept going further and further. And it's like, oh my God. Like, what? And it's hard to watch, especially if you've ever had insecurities and stuff. And it's like, you kind of want to just run over and throw a blanket on them. Like, don't look. Let her have her dignity. Like, leave her be. She's insecure. It's like their insecurity is just like so out there for the world to see. And they don't know it. They don't know what they're showing. It's like, because they're not seeing, because they're still stuck in something. And it's so trippy, as this one lady is, I think she's a lawyer. I mean, she's smart, she's beautiful. I mean, most people would say she's beautiful. Like, I mean, she's very attractive, and she has a good body. Like, she's super, super attractive. She's just like constantly showing herself, talking, and that's what her whole thing is about, and that's what's blowing up. And I can see these coming. I can see it from afar. I see it way ahead. And so I could see what was going on. And then that one guy who had said about the gym, and he was saying that, well, she did a stitch. And so yesterday morning she did some stitch, and I'd seen it. And she was offended. Like, what do you care? What do you care what we wear to the gym? Okay, so you're triggered, because you wouldn't feel triggered if it wasn't something you feel about yourself. So she started right away defending herself. I could go to the store, and I'm going to wear this. I may put on a sweatshirt or whatever, but, and it's like, I don't even know. I mean, you're going out in a swimsuit top and tights and walking around. I mean, usually girls who are doing that know they look good. There's not girls who are going out naked that don't have good bodies. So they know that their body looks good. And so they want to show it off. So they want to show it off because they want attention. They want attention because they've got an emptiness. They need somebody's attention. And so it's like a whole thing. Because you got women out at the stores with their husbands, and then getting mad at their husbands for looking. So then it's causing problems with them. And then it's like the guys that are looking, that are interested, are only looking at you as a sexual thing. They're only looking at you. They're not looking at the deeper side of you, like, wonder what she's like inside. I wonder what she does for a living. They're just looking like, fuck, I'd just like to hit that for a minute. They don't give a shit. And these girls think because a guy comes up and thinks you're attractive that you've got a love connection. No, sister. No, you got an attraction. You've got a stalker on your hands. This guy just wants to bang you. He doesn't give a fuck. So, give a fuck about you, how you feel, what you think. He fucking will marry you, too. Like, he still doesn't give a fuck what you think, what you like. Don't be trying to start relationships with people over shallow shit, man. And so so she was doing this whole thing and being defensive and stuff. And so I had just gone past it. I was like, oh, I just saw this coming. And, I've seen other ones of these girls having this happen too. And then I just saw one this morning, and I think did have a sweatshirt on. She was like, had more clothes on, because you start feeling dirty. You feel like, oh, but she's like, man, I was called a whore yesterday. And I don't know what all went on her. I was not even on, I haven't been going on here. I've been crocheting. And so I didn't see all the drama that was playing out. But she was like, and I'm really having a hard time right now. And I didn't listen to the whole thing, because it was just like, I know I can see it coming. All these things that people have to see in themselves, see about themselves, because they don't see it. They don't see what you're really doing. You're really showing how insecure you are. And that other people, guys and stuff that are looking for a partner, they aren't the ones who really want a solid partner, who's been through some shitty relationships, who's chosen the girl just because it was like the girl of his dreams. She looks just like the girl of my dreams. That's the one. And it had nothing to do with her as her character or who she is or what she stands for. And so he didn't even get to know that part, and she didn't expect him to. You know, he was attracted. It was a love connection. And so they just go on their happy way, thinking that they're in love, and then they start running into problems because they don't even know each other. They don't even understand each other. They have different ways of looking at things. And then so they're on their learning journey. That's your learning journey when you're going through those relationships. And so you have to set your bar higher if you don't want to go through those learning relationships, because that's what they're there for, is to teach you. And so many people, part of their lessons is to formulate a whole giant family and cause a lot of it's like there's so many problems when we have problems that we just hand the baton off to our kids, hand the baton on, like it just continues. That's why we got to stop and deal with our shit, look at ourselves, and make changes. And so that's why the universe is giving these opportunities. But a guy who is had some of that stuff and has been with girls that were all about like needing attention and dressing a certain way. Well, it's for me. I like to dress this way, which, I mean, I like to wear short mini dresses too. Like, if it seems like the right time to wear it, then, but I don't know. There's a certain thing about, there's women out there who the attention of their husband isn't enough. And there's men out there who have known that. They've gone through the experience. They've gone through relationships with women where the fella is not enough. She needs attention, attention, attention. And that's draining. And so that's not a true relationship. And that is what these girls are showing that they're all about still. They're saying that they want something deeper, but they're not going at it in a deeper way. They're going in a shallow, superficial way, which shows that they've got, shallow. I saw a girl doing this whole thing, and she likes Oprah. Like she really likes Oprah, and so she's doing this whole breakdown on Oprah and on the billionaires. And now she was saying, okay, so for currency, like currency is supposed to be moving. And so the billionaires, they are like dams put up in our currency, like in the river. Like they stop the movement. And it's so absurd too right now, like all the stuff that they're doing on purpose against the homeless people, but for the immigrants. Like all this stuff it all depends on how it affects you. How it affects you is how it's supposed to affect you. Whatever you got going. To me, it's like hard to watch. It's hard to watch. It's just painful. So much pain right now. And it's really hard too, is because there's so many players in the game who don't know they're in a game. And so they're just emotionally traumatized by all this stuff. But that's the parts that they're supposed to do. That's what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to see that. So that everything is going the way it's supposed to go. It's not like anybody's doing it wrong. But the, let me think what I was about to say. So so everybody's doing it right. Because you can't do it wrong. You're on a script. You're on destiny. There's nothing you can do wrong. It's just people always doubt themselves because they think that they're in control. It's like, you're not in control. There's nothing you've got control over except your emotions. And most people don't have control over that. That's what you're here to that's your challenge. My stomach's growling. Get control of your emotions. And man, I haven't been coughing a lot. I just noticed that. My stomach starts growling. I'm like, where's my other coughing? I haven't been coughing every 2 seconds. So maybe that's improving. I don't know. But let me think. Did I finish what I was saying? It's like I have another thing that is coming into my head. But did I finish what I was saying on that? Oh, it's like, let go, let go. You said enough. I don't know if I said enough. Did I say enough? Like, I guess it's all in the person. And it's so weird, too, is because, people can only understand up into their understanding. It's so weird. Because you can say the same thing. You could explain the same thing to 100 people. And everybody, like, if they tried to turn around and explain, they're going to explain it differently. It's like we all understand things differently. And so you as the speaker or the teacher, you have to let go of, you can't get people to exactly see what you see. But that doesn't mean it's like wrong. It just means that there's so many things we don't have control over. Like, it's so weird because we think that we could get somebody to understand, but we can't. People can only understand, and they will feel that they understand because they've hit where they understand. But it may be very different. You may be explaining something that's very different to what they understand it to be. It's trippy. So, I don't know. Hopefully I explain things thoroughly enough. But, the main thing is always just this, facing yourself and all this stuff going on here. And that this place is very different. And those of us who knew it was different, and we tried to tell people, and people kept arguing with us and lying and tell us we were crazy. And now it's like, fuck, it's our time. Now it's like, I'm not even, it's, why even go around? I told you. Yesterday, one of my daughters did something that was so strange. And, she went to go see the comedy show. So in the morning I said something about, how was the comedy show? And she's like, oh, it was so good. It was so funny. He's so funny. And she went and saw Damon Wayans. And she was like, it was so funny. It was so good. And then, so, okay, great. And then I think that's what I said too. I said, oh, great. That's cool. And then, so then her next thing was she sent me an article or something. And so I was like, weird, what is this? So look at it. It's such a propaganda. I was like, what the fuck? Seriously? What the fuck? So it was total propaganda. And I was like, why are you even sending this to me? So a story about this one. I didn't finish the story. I think she's in Tennessee, which has the strictest laws now on removing her babies. And which, I already said fucking years ago when this all shit was going down. It was fucking blowing my mind. The federal government is saying we don't have the right to tell you people what to do with your body. We don't have that right. Like, yeah, I know you don't. They're saying it. We don't have the right to tell you. So we're got to throw our hands up. No, sorry, we can't. We got to reverse it. We can't say anything about this because we don't have the right to. The motherfuckers lost their goddamn minds. They lost their goddamn minds. It's like, what are you talking about? You're getting less control by the government. No, they want this fucking over. It's like you guys are fucking walking into the mouth of the beast. Like, wake the fuck up. It's like so goddamn irritating. It's like, so she's sending me this so I will understand, why it's so important for the federal government to tell the states that you have to allow this. It's like, go, if that is so fucking important to you, go to a goddamn state where they do it. Besides the fact that they have advocacy groups that will get you to a goddamn, I even said this in her fucking thing. I said there is advocacy groups that will get you to a goddamn fucking clinic. The fetus has great value. You bet your ass they're going to get your goddamn fucking, they'll get you there if you want that. Call them up. It's like, don't sit here with your whiny ass shit. Oh, I'm in Tennessee. I really want one, but they won't let me. What am I going to do? Now I'm stuck with a baby. It's like, and for one thing, the woman had already lost 3 of her other kids because of her drug problem. And so now she is having another one. I was like, well, why wouldn't they just take that one? Why is it even this woman's problem? She's so upset that she couldn't go and get one because she's in Tennessee. I was like, this is such a fucking victim. And she goes, did you even finish reading it? I was like, no. I don't even understand why on a Saturday morning you're sending me this. Like, why in the world do you want to argue about this? It has nothing to do with us. Like, what the fuck? Neither of us are getting this procedure. Why are we talking about it? And even if I was getting it, it would be none of your goddamn business. It's like, why? Like, I don't understand people. I was like, God, I can't wait for the fucking light to come on. But there's all these things that people are going to see of themselves. Like, I can see why she's talking about this right now, because she's got to see herself. When the lights come on, she's got to see, is it this combative side of yourself? Is this social justice warrior, which is another thing that drives you insane when these people do it, but here you are. It's like, why? No matter what, I can have my own views on it. As far as I'm concerned, the universe puts something there. It's supposed, that's your journey. That's the path you're on. When you go in and say, fuck you, universe, I'm not ready for this. I'm going to go to school. This isn't, when you come in and you say, nope, I'm not accepting this lesson, that's a whole thing. So you're always going to do what you were going to do, but that's the whole thing. There's lessons there. There are the different kind of lessons, and what these people think they're fucking learning. That's what I know. Like the lessons that people think, like the lessons that people think in their 3-dimensional world, it's so hard. It's like, wait till you fucking face the soul lessons. Wait till you fucking face your soul consequences. Wait till you face yourself. There's so many people don't even know that they have a fucking moral side. They don't even know that they have this side of themselves. It's so hidden. It's so buried. It's so deep. And it's fucking coming out, dude. It's fucking coming out. Micro, macro. This is everything is coming to the surface. It's all coming out. You will face yourself. It will take a lot to not. And I think that is what all these people are having, all these issues. Like when they are so depressed and so anxious. It's because you're not facing yourself. You have to face yourself. You have to face your pain, your trauma, the things that you don't want to look at. You can't just mask up and put on a happy face and pretend like all is good. You can't think because everything else is good in your life. So therefore, you would have to be happy. So you're going to deny your sadness. You have to face your sadness. I mean, you can't go through trauma as a child, rejection, abandonment, and not have it affect you. Like, we're all affected. We're affected by the trauma that we experienced. We weren't expecting it. We weren't prepared for it. Just like that baby sitting there crying. Like, where am I? What am I doing? I thought I was in one life. What am I doing here? Which, his whole confusion. I think there's more time lapse, but I don't know. I have heard of that before where people will just go zip right back in. But I don't know, because every soul has their own thing going on. And so, I don't know. That's the more common thing that you will hear is when people go between lives, there's periods of time that you go and do other things. You live other existences. You don't just go from game to game to game to game to game. But then, there's just some people who do. Like, everybody's different. But the, I would say the majority of your experiences are not going to be like that, but you're going to also, people don't remember. Oh, I saw this woman too, and she was talking about the people, the kids who picked their parents, and it's something about adoption, and she was saying, no, they pick their parents too. They go through, like, they go through the whole thing. They know who's going to be raising them. They pick their parents. Like, it's all picked. All your people, the situations, like, the situations are a part of your story. The situations don't occur out of the blue. They are your story. And so all the players in your story, you and those players came up with your story. You all came up with the storyline. You all came up with how things were going to play out, and you play the different roles based on the roles that you played before. It's this always this balance, counterbalance, balance, counterbalance. It's just how the universe works. And so that's why you can't, in this time, in the awakening, get all caught up in good guy, bad guy. They're the bad guy. They're the bad guy. And I'm the victim. Poor me, poor me. Because there is no good guy or bad guy. There are situations. It's like experiences. You're here for experiences and situations. And the other player, the other role, is just your counterpart. It's your counter to play it out. It's not like, that is a lower state of consciousness to need there to be a good guy and a bad guy in a scenario. When you can move into it's kind of like an observation of just being able to watch yourself play the thing and not be so emotionally charged. And fuck, there's like so much of all these different people and their emotions and stuff all going so fast. But the one thing too that I have been noticing though with babies is the way that all these babies, they all seem to be just like, you can really see them looking around like they really do want to talk, and they start crying and all that. And it really is like, where the fuck am I? What is going on? Who are you people? What am I doing here? I thought I was one. It's weird how it is. And how when you get into the body too, it's this, God, my stomach is growling like crazy. When you go through the, it's weird how we're birthed in through like another player. When you go through and you come out, how it is like immediate discomfort. It's like immediate discomfort. And then, and you are so limited. It's like you are in this like a rock, kinda. Like it has to be moved by other people. You can't move it, or like you could throw it around, but you don't even know what you're doing. And it's just as funny when you start watching and you start looking at this as souls that are adult souls, grown souls that are redoing it again and again and again and again and again and again. But I don't know, just when you approach a baby like that, looking at him like a grown up, but back in a body, trying to, the frustration, trying to talk, trying to speak. I mean, it's no wonder why they're always goddamn crying. It's like, fuck, this is frustrating. And then when they start, it's so cute too, because I've seen so many of these cute ass fucking toddlers, even though I'm like, these people have got to stop exploiting their kids like this. There is some of the cutest kids out there saying the cutest stuff. There's this woman did, and the little girl, she was like a character, and she's so little, but her hair, it was like some sort of 50s kind of, in the moment when she said it, she's like, she's not letting a bad hair day wreck her day or something. And his hair, it looked like something like Laverne and Shirton, I don't know, because but it reminds you like Laverne, I think, of like that hair or something. It was like this in her outfit, so she even looked like that kind of thing. And she goes over She when her mom must have said something. She's walking down the sidewalk. When she turns and she looks, it's like this whole pose. It's like it fits into this little movie that his mom did so good because she does this little turn, which looks like uh, like something off of like Superman or something, like this little pose thing. And she turns and then she goes over to get in her little car. She's one of those little convertible automatic cars, and she's getting in it, and the music the mom is doing with it and stuff, it's just the funniest thing. And there's just this goofiest little looking kid, and she's just so fucking cute. And then you got some of these ones though that just are like saying profound shit. You got some of these ones that are like fucking masters of instruments and all sorts of shit. Like the kids that are coming in now are another level. Like I can't wait to get to go around see my grandsons again. Like fuck. It's like October since I've been over there. It's like the weather just I'll just be glad once it's spring, but who knows, like I mean everything is so right on the edge. Like we're right on the edge of everything going. And once it goes, then there will be I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how it's all going to affect us. I don't know how it's going to affect our traveling, if it's going to make it better or worse, if things are going to just stay the same. It's going to be, fuck, I don't know. I'm curious too over the thing in Virginia. Like, is this the beginning of their, are they going to start having ships laser down and say, oh, the aliens are attacking us? But you'd think they would have started that then, not the gas leak, but the police presence is so absurd. It's so fucking absurd. There's something, but everything is to get us to see there's something going on. So no matter what, it can't even be that. We're just going to have a whole bunch of cops because they got to keep making all this shit. And there's all these places now here in Washington State. We've got one. They're going to dump $600 billion into. Oh, I didn't finish that because it was that girl. She was talking about Oprah and the billions and saying how these people are the blood clots. They're the clots of our society. They are the problems. They are the ones who hoard and keep the money hidden from us. And they're the ones that keep things from not flowing right in our society. And now it's being shown. It's so, see, that's the kind of stuff. It's like this complete reversal where people are like, oh, I wish I had that. And now it's like, yeah, but that's the problem. You know, we should all be sharing. The money should be in flow. There shouldn't be like these scared people that need all the money in their fucking account while there's people out starving. And it shouldn't even be based on money. The things are with the people with the money, they want us to all be needing more money. So then they short food. Like there should be food growing in the cities just on trees, and there should just be food. There used to be apples, orange trees, and stuff like that. There should be food out where nobody should go hungry. Maybe they would have to eat a lot of pears and apples and stuff out of gardens and stuff like that. Which I just saw another video, and this woman said that she's doing this whole video. It's one that annoy the fuck out of me. Like, you want to know the main thing that all these people do that are similar, who live to be over 100? And there's like she's going through the stats. There's 6 different cities where there's a huge amount of people over 100 or whatever. And she said, and I don't know if she got it out of that same documentary, but she said it's beans. Beans are what it is that extends something. And I said, that's what I fucking eat all the time. Every day is beans. I don't eat meat. I mostly eat beans. And so anyways, but that comes from my guidance. See, that comes from internal. That's why I'm like, you gotta just listen to your internal. You got it inside of you. People have it inside of them. They're just always looking outside of them. But, you know, I was led to eat beans. I've been eating them for a while, and when I started eating them, I was like, why don't more people just eat beans? Like, they're so cheap. You keep them, and the shelf life is fucking long. You grow them easy. You, they're plentiful, and they're so hardy, and they're so filling, and they've been something throughout our history that so many cultures have thrived or survived off of. It's like, it just makes sense. And then especially if, like, during all this, like, the animal murdering is just really too much. Like, it's uh like, I'm having a hard time just doing the chicken for Stella. And the chicken that I did yesterday, I was like, this is not real. I don't know what the fuck this is. But, and then I got, okay, but we're not real. Nothing here is real. It's just part of the story. It's part of the story. And so, but it's like, oh, I just can't even handle it. But I am shifting her more on beans too. And she eats, like, she loves all beans. She loves vegetables. She eats all that stuff. But that's because she's been raised on food. Like, she eats food. And to me, it's always like, you got to think about, what if if your dog was out trying to survive? Dog is not a predator. It's not going to go out and start hunting and killing animals. It's going to go out and beg and dig in trash and try and find scraps and stuff. It's going to live off of what it can find, scraps and stuff. I mean, Stella, maybe she would figure out to go and eat out of a garden. I don't know. But anyways, I haven't seen that one little dog, dog that I was seeing, the stray. I don't know if somebody took it in or called animal control on it or something. I couldn't get close to it at all. It ran and ran and ran further. So I was just like, okay, I'll just leave it. So it definitely wasn't coming to me even when I was calling it. I threw out a couple of dog treats one day, but who knows, like, if it found them or whatever. That, let me think. If I had finished all the stuff I was going to say, it seems like I didn't. Like the 100-year thing, so there was more on that. The movement, like I've been saying and saying and saying. And now the beans, like I've been saying. And, oh yeah, this other thing too. As I saw this lady, so there's this fucking thing that these women are doing to their faces. And they're putting some sort of chemical or something on it. The chemical burn that occurs and what they do. There's this woman on TikTok, and she's talking about how hard it is. It's been 6 days. Her face looks like an acid burn. It is so, oh my God. It's so brown, and she's having a hard time moving and stuff. And so in the comments, all the people were like, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you do this to yourself? Why not age gracefully? And she defended herself for a few, but then she started only talking to the people like, oh, you'll get through this. It'll be okay. It'll look much better when you're done. I don't understand. And then I saw another video where a doctor was looking at a face of somebody who had this done. And so it just looked like an older woman, and she had some fine lines, and I don't know, she had some wrinkles. And, but to me, it's like, well, there's a lot of other things she could do. But so she did this thing, and then she peeled it off, and then she didn't have the lines. But it's like, you're taking off all your, I don't know. There's something really strange. It's like a desperation. It's like hurting your body in the name of beauty. It's like not caring about your body as usual. And so there's this whole thing. It's so much about mind, body, spirit. And all these people are going at things so different. They're going at everything so backward. You got to come at it of the more you love your body, the more you love yourself, the more you will reflect that, the more your body will show. It's like it'll just show that you care about yourself. When you don't care about yourself, it will show. In some of these, like that lady, even when I was looking at her thing and she's doing her video, I was like, man, you need to put some castor oil on your skin or something. You're going to be scarred. I bet you there's going to be, like, why would you put this chemical on your face when you don't even know what the reaction is going to be? Now, I saw another one, and this was a dark-skinned person, and they did one of these weird fucking treatments, and it took the color out of their face. Like, they had fucking polka dots of a white under. I was like, oh my God. And she said, she was saying, they don't tell you melanated people don't do this procedure. It fucks your skin up. It was like, fuck, man. But, you know, here I am dealing with my fucking injection site thing problem too. But I am still doing all of and the one bump over here, I don't feel it anymore. And so there was like a little scabby thing, and it's gone. It still is there. Like it feels like it still wants to erupt. But I just keep doing all of the lymph moving. Just keep moving it and moving it and moving it. So to me, you got to do the lymph moving for your face, for your head, for all of it, for your whole body. You're supposed to do these. That's a part of the movement and stuff. That's a part of the living longer, is this moving the lymph around inside your body and extending your like you can't extend your life past where it was going to end. It's not like you can extend it. You have your period of time. In your period of time, you can live it how you want. And so if you want to live it feeling good and being healthier and looking good and stuff, then you have to put effort into that, and not effort into paying somebody to do something. And so it is, you have to do it. I wish I could massage these goddamn fucking implants out. But so anyways, doing all of that stuff and doing all of the face yoga stuff, making sure you're hydrated from the inside, hydrating your skin from the outside, releasing the tension and anger and bitterness that you hold at the end of each day. The tension that you have, release it so it's not sitting there. Ugh. You know, get the muscles to relax so they don't let the tension go. Let your anger and stuff, let it go. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's gone now. Whatever happened, don't hold on to it. Just move past it and work on you letting go of stuff. And so that to me is the thing to do. You know, pay attention to your diet, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Figure out what minerals you're short on and start focusing on your health, not, you know, this anti-aging treatments and creams and all that stuff. And you know what? One thing too is I think it's kind of like, because I don't color my hair, and then I started drinking out of the thing. So then I could see that it made a change. But there's so many older women who color their hair once it starts being gray. And so they color their hair so they don't even know how much gray they have. And so they don't know how much mineral deficient that they are, because they've cut that awareness off. They didn't want to look. They didn't want to see, because they didn't know. They just thought they were getting old and didn't want to look old. So, but then there's a whole thing. Like, and so it's like almost like we could have figured it out sooner, but we went in a shallow direction. Like there's so much of this truth that's always been there on our health and stuff, but we were always looking in another direction, even though they were always snapping their fingers trying to get us to look over here, trying to get us to rely on them, telling us that, you know, they're our savior. You know, we can have a better life if, and it's just so absurd. I'm just really on it with these doctors too, of like, they obviously don't think for themselves. If you can't look out into the world and see things, and it's just, there's so many positions that hold power that hold no ethics. They have no scruples. They've got no, it is like a soulless world. We've really been living in a soulless world. He'll evolve, not that they don't have souls, but they're disconnected from their souls. So that they could enjoy the party. And now they got to reconnect. And it's like that walk of shame home. That's what it's going to be. Some deep, deep walks of shame are about to occur. We're going into the walk of shame of the earthlings. The earthlings walk of shame. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Oh, I forgot about you, soul. I'm sorry. It's like, it's just coming home to yourself. So remember, you do have morals. You do care about things. You do care about, like, you do want to be respected. Like, this is just so much, like, people just don't respect themselves. It's like sad. So all I can say is love yourself, love everybody, and have a loving day. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.